here we'll see some writing some algebraic notations using the equation tool present in the Microsoft Word. So here all the guidelines you are already seeing here, how where to find the equation tool, or how to use the shortcuts. So the shortcut is pretty much easier. Use just alternate and equals button, then you'll get the you'll get the equation tools. Now this specific Microsoft Word file or the doc file will be given as a link for your practice. So now let's move on to see what happens or what is there in the Word file. So first notation is a squared or e to the power 2. So how do we write it? It's as usual, we say it's the a superscript 2, and that will give us a squared. So let's see what we do. So we'll use the shortcut here. So the shortcut here is our type equation here. So we see we'll type a, then use superscript, then use 2, and then use the enter, and then that is our a squared. Now it's the a subscript 2. So the subscript are used are showed by using the underscore option from the keyboard. Also we see where to find the equation tool, so we will use specific the MS Word buttons here. So insert tab, equations, insert new equation. So insert, where is equation, that's equation, and then insert new equation. So there we get our equation. So what we do here, a subscript 2, then we get our a subscript 2 option. So then how do you write this as this? So as usual, we use the shortcut, we get our equation option, a divided by b, and enter, we get this here. So now one thing you are always seeing that it's always being middle centered. So how can we keep it left centered or middle centered? So as usual, if we use this button, this gets left centered. If we want it right centered, then we get it right centered, and if we do this, if we want to just keep this, then it's middle centered. Now you may have one question that what is the font of the equation, or can it be increased? Now the font is Cambria Math by default, and only it can be increased, the font size can be increased only, like as you see what I am doing here, it's like 18 or 16. But here is one option present here, that you can also change the font of a equation, but you need to use the equation tab here, then use the option ABC text, then it's inline equation converted to inline equation. Now you can use any of your fonts, whatever font you want, like if you want to use Times New Roman, then it's Times New Roman and others. So by default the equation tool uses the Cambria Math font, and by default the size is what your preferred size they are inside the equation tool. So if I use 14, then the equation tool also use a bigger size. So the size is what you can easily change, but if you need to dearly need to change your format, then you of the font, then you need to use the option there at the conversions in the equation tool and conversions. Now let's see how do you get this sign, this division sign. So it's already we have written that a, then use the div, then use b, and you get it. So every time you enter a space, like if I remove this and let me show you one more time, a, then I wrote div. So if I use a space here, then it will automatically give me that notation. So if you are familiar with LaTeX, then you know how to use this, or if you are not familiar with LaTeX, then I think this from this tutorial you will understand how the basic notations work in MS Word equation tool or in LaTeX. So this is how. So whenever you enter a space, you will just get your notation if that is present inside the LaTeX. But if you say one more time here, like I said, that whenever, but if I make a mistake, like here I don't use the div or I use the div or the din, then if I enter a space, that will bring me nothing as there is no din. So I need to be precisely correct here to get expected outputs. So what is here? A times B. So A, we write times and B. So that's how we get our multiplication sign. So now here is a question: why do you always need to this um, slash sign or anything? So it's the um, basic notation, or it's the basic convention of LaTeX. You need to use this to, like, I need to use somewhere I may need to use the times in my equation or div in my equation, especially in coding. The div used in many other coding languages. So just because this doesn't make any confusions or make any overlapping, that's why we use this sign to divide them from other coding notations. So here the square root of a, so you use sqrt, then enter, and we have our a. Now enter a and enter a space, then we have a square root of a. Now we may have a question: if we need to use a into b, so what will happen? Sorry, a times b. Now we needed to use this a times b whole inside the square root. Now what happened here? So let me tell you, square root is the square root function completes its square root notation whenever it sees and spacing. So to do this, we need to use first bracket. So here a times, sorry, times b, and then put a space, and then you get your desired output. So now this notation is pretty much special, as you cannot write easily in line. So we will use the equation options here. So how do we do that? So first of all, we use our shortcuts, or you can use it from the tabs, how to use insert equations. So we get the equation, then we get to the equation tab, then we will use the structures here, the structures, then structures, then radical. Here is the radical, and then in radicals tab we get this. So this is how it works. Also, not to mention that you can get every sign from the equation tools. I'm just telling you how you can write these using the keyboards. Like the every of them are here in this basic math and in these options. Every tool, every options, the everything you are seeing here, you can find it here. But this, like, if you want to find the times everywhere from the equation tab, this is hugely time consuming, and the and sometimes concentration breaking. So that's what this is what we are focusing for. So let us find out, let us use some more mathematical tools. So here neq not equals, so that's what here. And if we want to see here greater than equals, so greater than equals, that's what. Also, not to mention, we can use greater than not equals means neq, greater than equals means geq. We can also use this, and we can get the same result. And for here less than equals, we get it. And again, not to mention, if we use less than equals leq, we can get our desired result. So there goes in, here is in, and we get the belongs to sign. If we use the prop to, we get our proportional to sign. If we use infinity, in now do not write infinity, you write infty, infinity, and we get the infinity sign. and finally the therefore, and we get our therefore sign. So you can get this everything just by typing like this, like for Greek alphabets, for small letters or lower letters, alpha, beta, gamma, delta, pi, just like them as they're in the as their Greek pronunciation in English. Say we say alpha means ALPHA, delta means DELTA, theta, pi, epsilon, and for getting the upper cases, you need to use just the uppercase at the first letter. So alpha becomes capital ALPHA. So you get the upper cases, and by using these, you can get every notations easily what you need to use in regular life. Like for this is the for all sign. The for all looks like an A that is placed 180 degree rotated. So how do you get that? Just go for your equation tool, write for all as showed here, and what you need to do is just an enter, sorry, just a space, and voila, you get your for all sign. So the real number, it's the real number with those double signs. So double R, double Z, double N, double Q. So you can get these like this, like in this process. So the degree sign, angle sign. So what you need to use, write A, then use degree and enter the space, and you get this A degree sign. And for the recurring decimal showed that the recurring A, or sometimes these are used in vectors also, but in general in mathematics it can also used to show the recurring decimal signature. So we get a dot, and that's it, we get it. So but here a problem is in when you use the a dot sign, you get it as it is in degree. So you put another space and you get the dot on your desired space. So remember this, whenever you use a dot, this notation, you get the dot where we got the previous degree sign, the degree sign on the space here. So this is not what we desire for, so use just another space and that will give your expected output. So here we are seeing this, you can see the right arrow provides you this, the right capital right arrow, so just only R capitalized provides you this, just the plus minus provides you this provides you this, equivalent provides you this, cap provides you this, and cap provides you this. So these are the basic notations you might need to use when you are writing mathematics in MS Word, or it might help you in LaTex and somewhere, as these notations can also be used in LaTeX equation editor or LaTeX equation environment, but obviously not like this in LaTeX. But these specific codes, or you say the group of notations, will work in LaTeX in the same manner. So let's see the one last time. Equation tool, A, perp B. So sorry, I made a mistake here, so that sign should be here. So that's how you get it. So lastly, if you just write a subscript 2, then it will not bring you any output. So what to do? First of all, you need to use the equation editor, equation tool here. So how do you do that? Once again, a recap. For what, let's say the for pi, You need to use the insert tab, the equation tool on, and insert new equation, and then just use pi as here and you get it. Also, you can use it using shortcuts, that's alternate equals and then type theta, then you get your desired output. So this is how you write equations in MS Word equation tool. And all, and remember that you need to use equation tools, and if you overcome or if you find any problems in between them, you can always watch this video one more time, and also you can search Google for any kind of problem. So I guess that summarizes everything. How that was just a basic to how to use the notations, not using, not all the equation tools. Like we haven't mentioned anything about the, like, you say insert tab equation, and there are some specific saved equation tools. So if you need to use the area of a circle, you just do not need to pi r square and type everything, that's already saved here. Also, you can save your equations for later use. We haven't focused on that, as this video only focuses on the fact how to use the basic notations, how do you type the basic notations in MS Word using the equation tool. That's all. Thank you, and hope that the video helped.